Hey guys, Noli here and welcome to my channel. So in today's video we will check new tier 8 tech 3 Russian battleship, Vladivostok, that will hopefully be released relatively soon. And I played a few games with her and I think she's a decent ship. I would compare her to North Carolina and Monarch as two other Tech 3 battleships that I really like. I still think that North Carolina is the best Tech 3 battleship, Tier 8 battleship. Monarch would be second in my opinion, and the Vladivostok would be third, but not by long. So that she's a decent ship. She has her disadvantages, advantages, and my fear was that will Russian battleship line go into direction of Lenin or more into the direction of Poltava, and I have a feeling that Sinop and Vladivostok are closer to Poltava than to Lenin. I think Sinop is really good ship. I will do the next video. Will be with Sinop. So on tier 7 she's really good. Yes, but on tier 8 Vladivostok, so she is decent. In terms of scoring overall, I would give her 3 from 5, maybe 3.5 from 5. Let's say survivability would be 3 from 5 or 3.5 from 5. Maneuverability would be 3 from 5. Sometimes she feels a little bit sluggish to me. Guns 3 from 5. They are much more accurate than that Russian battleship that was on tier 5. But sometimes dispersion. I think the sigma value for her is not maybe 1.8 or something like that. And then AA would be 2 from 5. So she's on the lower side on AA, right? And I would compare her. So I would compare her to North Carolina, Monarch, and then Roma, as Roma is, queen of tier 8 battleships and the best battleship that you can buy. So in terms of survivability and maneuverability, here is the comparison. And you see the survivability, Vladivostok has the biggest HP pool. Not only from these 4 ships, but from all tier 8 battleships in the game. And somehow you don't feel this big HP pool. Somehow she has a tendency to relatively lose health relatively fast. So I mean she is okay, but I don't have a feeling that she's like really strong ship. So you have to be careful that the enemy is not focusing you. Okay, that being said, for maneuverability, but this HP pool helps. Yeah, definitely, Then in terms of maneuverability, she has a speed but slower acceleration, and turn time is bit sluggish. Let's say it like that. So she doesn't turn relatively agile. If you compare it, I know it's Tech 3 ship, but if you check Roma or Rishi, they're much faster in turning. But on the other hand, she is on point with North Carolina. So maybe North Carolina is even slower. So yeah, just have to keep that in mind when playing her, right? Okay, then if we check guns, they are, as you can see, 406 millimeter. So she has 9 of them, AB and X turret, 22.8 second reload, 14.228 kilometers, relatively decent AP damage, and relatively decent turret reversal speed. And what you can see here the comparison between North Carolina and Monarch and Roma. The thing about dispersion is that sometimes she's really on point, really good dispersion. Sometimes shells fly all over the place, and sometimes you can struggle with getting DPM or damage output relatively high. So you need to take a bit more time to get the damage output that you would like. So guns are decent, but I think that, for example, North Carolina or Monarch are better, and Roma and Rishi are much better. Let's say it like that. But they're not horrible. They're not like, I don't know, Bismarck or something like that, where dispersion is really bad. And you really can feel this mid-range penetration in this ship. It's really obvious. Like if you go to like 7, 8, 9 kilometers, then they're really bad, really good. And she has relatively decent also secondary guns, as you can see here, and auto secondary guns. So that's really nice to have. And then for the last thing, if we check this AA, She's really on the lower side, better than Roma, but yeah, not much. You want to take a lot of planes down. Okay, now let's jump into the gameplay and see how she's performing in action. Okay, so first let's check this first salvo, and of course dispersion, that's really important. Just give it a second. Okay, and you can see here, so dispersion in this case is really good, right? But it's not always like that. So I have a feeling there is a distinct, like, I don't know, maybe around 10 kilometers is a line where anything below that will be really good, anything above that will be, hey, sometimes it will be like all over the place. So it is really important to know her advantages and disadvantages, pros and cons, so you can then figure out what is the playstyle that, you know, fits her. Before we go in pros and cons, a little bit of torpedo bit now here, nice. And so her pros: she has big HP pool, she has decent guns, mid-range, she has good secondary and out-secondary guns, and she has good penetration dispersion at mid-range. In terms of cons, she has a tendency to lose HP relatively quickly, she's prone to fires and flooding, she's a bit sluggish, and she has weak AA. Also worth mentioning is that she has one extra damage control kit. I have them 4 here, as you can see. And I know now, for example, in this example, okay, first let's check this shot on Algeria. It will be a nice shot, it is mid-range of course, but on the other hand I was not careful there. I know that there is a Loyang on my right side and I have eaten torpedoes and got flooding. I was chatting with my fleet mates, so shout out to Syncopa and Pirates there, so I was not concentrated, and this is something that, you know, you should be careful, because I won't say that each torpedo or each shell will, you know, cause fire and flooding, but a lot of them will. And I have a feeling it's more than, you know, I don't know, North Carolina or Roma, right? Okay, that being said, in terms of playstyle and keeping in mind pros and cons, you don't want to show the broadside because you can lose HP relatively fast. Try to close the distance to get to this mid-range where she has really good penetration and dispersion. Watch for fires and flooding. So watch if, you know, fire starter like Cleveland is focusing on you, or, you know, planes, torpedoes, and something like that. You know, so you have to keep it in mind, because again, look at this now. Yeah, again torpedo, and I have flooding again. And you need to plan your position, because she is a bit sluggish to, you know, turn and this kind of stuff. So I really would like to plan what will happen in next 30 seconds, so that, you know, you have enough time to react and move. And so for example here, so this CV is on 8.6 kilometers, and this Persian here is really nice, yeah, right? So from six shells, 5 landed, and this is, you know, I will take him down now, and you can just check. So it's really I mean, this is how it is in PC version, right? So mid-range, she's great in dispersion and penetration, you know? The only problem is if game is developing like that you need to close the distance. And I'm here lucky because, for example, I have Bismarck on my right side and there is another battleship there. You know, I had one game where there was like Iowa and Friedrich der Große and I don't know, some other battleship and CV. And I really lost HP quite well, and I wanted to close the distance. I wanted to come like 10 kilometers, 9 kilometers, and then they focused on me and I really died relatively fast. And this is something to keep in mind with her, is that you need to find a way where you will be able to close the distance and to this mid-range where, you know, you can take the advantage of this dispersion. And on the other hand, not get focused and die relatively quickly. You know, for example, here I'm lucky because this Bismarck has guns on the other side, so I can really use outer secondary guns, this, you know, good penetration, and I can really collect damage quite quickly. So that is it in terms of Vladivostok. I have to say it was a pleasant surprise. We will see how Tier 10 will be. I will release a new video with Sinop, I think, tomorrow. I hope you find this video useful. Please hit like and subscribe button, and see you in the next video, guys. Bye!